Hey, zombie fans, this is Matt Jarbo, host of the Zurvivalist, the only podcast dealing with the zombie apocalypse survival tactics, and I'm here today with Matthew from Alberta, Canada. Matt, how you doing?
I am doing great.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show and being patient with the technical difficulties that we were experiencing a few minutes ago.
So, it happens.
Oh, yeah, it happens all the time, especially when you're doing podcasts. But let's get right down to it here, because you were telling me your plan a little beforehand, and it was solid. What would you do? How would you survive a zombie outbreak if it hit your town in Alberta?
Well, the first thing that I'm going to do is fill my bathtub and sinks up with water, and, of course, fill the 2-liter bottles I have, because I have a bunch of those. Because you never know when the water is going to go out, and, well, you can kind of go hungry for a couple of days, but you need your water.
True. Don't forget the fact that there is 70 gallons of water in a water heater, hot water heater, and there's 2 gallons of water in the tank of your toilet.
Yep.
If it comes to that, drink toilet water. But it's it's the tank. It's not the bowl. You should be okay.
Yeah. And then probably right after that, I'm gonna be staying home, because you don't want to be going outside when something like that happens. Locked doors should be good enough to keep both people and zombies out. Windows might be another problem, but that can always be solved with wood. We have plenty of that here.
Yeah. Lots of trees.
I'm gonna be listening to the radio a lot, and TV if it's on, because regardless of what you see in movies, the emergency broadcast system will tell you what's up. Even if you only watch TV for 5 seconds, once you see that the emergency broadcasting system's up, you kind of know some shit's going down. So
yeah.
If shit has hit the fan, I think one of the first things I'm going to do is stay home for at least 2 days. And as I was telling you before, I have this group. It's mainly just us friends, and it's what we would do if something like this were to happen. If I get word from them that they're heading up to the spot where we're going to go, I'll go, because, well, I'll take what I have, what we've set out to get, and I'll go. But if I don't hear from them, I'm probably going to stay home.
Safety first, of course.
Right. And you never know in a situation like that, because it might be really bad, or it might be, people are fleeing up north. And to me, that's not that big of a deal, because they're probably heading to Calgary. And Calgary, as it is I really wouldn't want to be there in a zombie apocalypse, to be completely honest with you.
And why is that?
Calgary is pretty big. It's got about 1 million people. I'm pretty sure. I'm not even sure if it's 1 million people, but I know that there's a lot of people there. Not to mention it's a city, so you kind of want to stray away from those.
Yeah. I mean, 1 million people is kind of that's still a lot of people, regardless. If they're all infected, then you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, no kidding. So.
Well, I'm curious. I'm sorry. I'm curious. The spot you were talking about with your friends, what is that?
That spot is the interpretive center that watches over Frank Slide. And Frank Slide, it's better known as the Turtle Mountain. What happened there in the 1900s, the mountain came down, basically. Tons of rocks, shitloads of rocks came down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably pretty amazing to see something like that, but I've driven through there so many times, it's not that shocking anymore. Not to mention I've lived here all my life, so anyways, the interpretive center is this it's a tourist thing, I guess, and it basically tells the history of the mountain. But that building is about 200 feet up from the highway that runs through our town.
Okay.
So chances are, if there are a bunch of zombies, that's probably going to be the safest place to go. Number one, because the zombie's probably going to have a hard time going uphill. That's been mentioned before. But if they're on the side with the rocks, it's going to be even harder, because if you naturally, if you were to climb over that, you get really tired. But a zombie, I mean, their muscles are going to tear because that's pretty strenuous task, climbing over a bunch of rocks.
That's true.
And,
well, not to mention that, you were telling me before that there's only like 6,000 people in your combined town area.
Yeah, it's pretty small.
So you'd probably not have to deal with that many if they were kind of straggling out there. And how far away is Calgary from where you are?
It's about a 2-hour drive. So, yeah, it's pretty far. But even if something were to come down from Calgary, like if that million came down, the side that we're on is protected because of all those rocks. It's not the side where the road leads up to the interpretive center, and that's a good thing.
Now, are there supplies at the interpretive center, or would you have to like salvage what you?
You'd probably have to scavenge, but I mean, scavenging here, as long as you have the right stuff, is pretty light. Things I'm probably going to go get are at this hardware store. So I'm probably going to go get some tarp, some earplugs, some matches. I don't really have a lot of matches. Insect repellent, I mean, if it is summer, if it were to happen right now, I'd probably need a lot of that. I'd need a bicycle pump and probably some .22 ammunition.
Is that your only gun? Is a .22?
As sad as it is, it is. It's my only gun, which I know that's going to say a lot about Canadians, but I feel that a .22 is pretty much all you need. I mean, it's scoped, which is that's a blessing. And even though a .22 has like a really, it's not that powerful compared to other armaments. It's got enough power at medium range to totally dispatch a zombie.
I see. Are you proficient at all in using the .22?
Well, I haven't gone hunting for it's been a while. I think the last time I went to a range was about a couple of years ago, but I still know basically how to fire it, so that's a good thing.
Well, just in case you may want to start going back to the range. I mean, according to Mayans, we're entering N times in just 2 years, so.
Right. I suppose. Well,
okay. Let's
anyway,
say.
Besides. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, let's say you're up there at the interpretive center. Your friends are there. You guys, hold down the fort for a long time. Now, would you gradually reintegrate into society if your government was able to bring it back together, or would you hang out there and stay for as long as you can just so you'd be able to, make sure everything was safe before coming back, or you just say screw it all to society and remain on the outskirts?
See, a lot of people would really like to do the latter, but that's not the answer. I think one of the bigger problems you're going to have to face is just being alone. Well, you'd probably think you're the only people who survived, but that's probably not true. I think a really smart thing would be to at least barricade the highway on both ends. So probably from the rocks, like I said before, probably from right there to the edge of Coleman, my town, would be a good time to start, I think. And at least move gradually away from the interpretive center and try to reclaim as much land as possible.
That can work. But we are actually running low on time, and it's been very informative, and I like your plan. But I have to ask you this question. If you were bit...
I know it's coming.
What would you do, man, if the zombie took a chunk out of your arm?
Well, I'd probably fucking kill the zombie that bit me, which is something that I don't see a lot of people doing, as far as I'm concerned. I'd probably let my dog go, because I told you I'd have my dog with me.
Yeah.
I'd probably take about 3 hours, maybe 5, depending on how quick mania sets in, and write a memoir. Write a really, really short memoir about how we lived. And then probably, because I'm not going to have the balls to do it, have one of my friends kill me, because, well, you know how it is.
Oh, yeah, I know how it is, and you got to do what you got to do, and if your friend will do that, then that's always for the best. But that is actually all the time we have for this episode this week. Matthew, thanks you very much for being on the show and being our first Canadian. You guys have a solid plan, and it was good to listen to. And be sure to, all you Canadians, be sure to check back and listen to this guy when it happens. But thank you again for being here.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. And for all of you guys listening at home who want more Zurvivalist episodes, you can always find us at facebook.com/KZOM Radio, youtube.com/KZOM Radio, KZOM Radio at Twitter, or kzomradio.blip.tv. In fact, KZOM Radio, just Google it and you'll find us. I'm Matt Jarbo for the Zurvivalist, and I'll see you guys next week.